Basically what we're doing here today is we're getting ready for our annual training weekend. We recertify every year to go out and give the Forest Service a surge capability. So whenever the civilian tankers are tapped out and they've exhausted all of their assets, they call up the military, and we have 8 units from 4 different locations across the United States. 3 of them are National Guard and 1 is Reserve. Here at Colorado Springs, Peterson, we're at the Air Force Reserve, and we have 2 C-130s that are on call all the time to support it whenever needed for forest fire support. And we do that mostly during the summers, but it's a year-round process, and we can be called at a moment's notice and usually deploy within about a 48-hour period. This actual unit is configured for 3,000 gallons, depending on how hot it is and the situation that's going on, where we're going and how far we have to go. We don't always carry the max. It's usually around 2,500 to 2,700 gallons, and that gets expelled out of the airplane in about 4 to 6 seconds. If the weather's good, and we can run these things nonstop for about a 12-hour period, and we can do a turnaround in about 15 minutes. So after a drop, come back, and it's a continual cycle. I like to keep one going at all times so that there's never a time on the fire where there's not at least one tanker ready to go for the Forest Service lead plane. We have 2 C-130s. The restriction is how many units we have for the back of the airplane. As you can see, there's 3 just right here that are marked for MAFs, but there's very little that needs to be done to the airplane. It's the actual unit that slides into the back that's our restriction. We only have 2 of those for this unit in particular. So we have, 12 airplanes and we can move them around, but we only have 2 units. The unit is actually, it's a modular unit that slides into the back of a C-130, and it can go into any one of our C-130s in, just like a half a day. The fires are mostly fought on the ground. We support the ground forces. You can talk to a lot of people who've seen aerial drops, and sometimes, depending on the wind and the conditions, an aerial drop may be very ineffective because the fire is moving so fast. So a lot of times when you see a fire and you don't see airplanes on it, doesn't necessarily mean that we're not doing everything we can. It just means that we realize that the weather conditions are just are not going to be effective enough to help the ground. So we don't want to waste the retardant on something that's not going to help the guys on the ground, which is the most important thing.